everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at a game that I haven't featured on the channel in quite some time, and that is Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast. There's just been several updates to the game recently, and I thought, you know what, it's time to do a video on this game. It's a game that I've mentioned several times in other videos, kind of along the lines of, hey, what have I been playing since Marvel Avengers Alliance died? And I often talk about this game when I talk about synergy. Mostly since Marvel Avengers Alliance has died, no game has really had that chess player mentality level of synergy. We've talked about it with Marvel Future Fight and the fact that you can look in the team builder section of a character and find out what bonuses people get when they're teamed up. Say like Cable, Cyclops, and Jean. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But it's very basic and it's very obvious. DC Legends is a little bit better. DC Legends, you can build teams based around buffs and debuffs, somebody who maybe gets more powerful with intellect on them, so you bring somebody who puts intellect out on the entire party. So there is some synergy in that game. It's fairly basic. Marvel Strike Force has got some synergy things with, say, Baron Mordo's passive of too many sorcerers. If a mystic dies, he gets health restored and he gives out energy, so maybe you bring some mystics with you in case your own team dies. Mordo gets buffed. But Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast has always kind of been in the background of one of the few games that has things comparable to Marvel Avengers Alliance Agent, and that is all the different eddies, and also lots and lots of synergy goes on, and it's not a very obvious one. You kind of have to go through the game and find out yourself. So right now, a few things are on sale. There is a rank up pack for $7. I don't think it's that good. You have to be a real beginner for this one to have any values. You got a couple 2-star Evo materials, a reasonable amount of Ironite, kind of a poor amount of gold, and 5 rare souls. So it's okay if you're a very, very beginner, like just installing the game. There's Rank Up Pack 2, which takes a massive jump in price at being $30. And this one has 1 legendary soul, 3 skill shards, a bunch of Eternity Soul fragments, a decent amount of iron coins, which is the PvP currency, and you've got some talismans, a decent amount of gold, and actually a really good amount of ironite. And then you have the gauntlet packs, of which these are dedicated to the red class, which is the warrior class. I did get this pack over here on the left, mostly because of the Evo shards. These 3 stars and higher are a little bit harder to come by, and I got this one, whereas the one on the right, so the one on the left is more about getting a character and leveling it up, and the one on the right is more about buffing the character with talismans, evolution runes, skill shards, etc. So when I talk about the different eddies kind of being like the Marvel Avengers Alliance, you'll see here the first several characters in my roster are different eddies, and these different eddies can kind of be like a Marvel Avengers Alliance agent in different suits. So even though this is red, this is kind of like a Scrapper Eddie. This is kind of like an AoE Blaster Eddie. This is kind of like a Bruiser Tank agent. Let me kind of walk that one back again. This Eddie is like a Scrapper agent. This is like a Blaster agent. This guy is like a Bruiser agent. So they each have different stats and different priorities in their stats. They have skills, and then you equip talismans. So the skills you could think of kind of as gear, and the talismans as ISO 8s. That's the best way of doing it. So actually my default Eddie is my best, and he's kind of my go-to workhorse. Edward the Great has a relatively new Eddie for me, and he's shot up to being one of my most powerful super quickly. Wickerman Eddie is very basic. You get him at the beginning of the game. I've largely passed him over, but I use him sometimes. Viking Eddie's fun. Seventh Son Eddie is near and dear to my heart because this is my first Iron Maiden album. Can I Play With Madness is probably my favorite Iron Maiden song and the song that got me into Iron Maiden. So this is from literally my favorite CD, with Somewhere in Time kind of being my second favorite Iron Maiden CD, which is the one before Seventh Son. We have Mummy Eddie, Pharaoh Eddie, which is pretty good, especially for resin characters, super high health. I really like Soldier Eddie. He put in a lot of work for me for a really long time. Coal Giver Eddie, which was a Christmas one. Navigator Eddie, which is also a lot of fun. Carriage Rider Eddie is a relatively new one for me, but he's largely been overshadowed by Edward the Great. Run to the Hills Eddie, I kind of always thought of as fairly weak, so I didn't kind of build him up that much. And Speed of Light Eddie seems to be very, very common when you're pulling souls. I've had several duplicates of Speed of Light Eddie. Now that the Eddies are gone, some of my favorite characters are Rocket Dog. Rocket Dog has been a faithful companion of mine for a very, very long time. Probably my most favorite AoE right now. Child of the Damned. This is thanks to my old Marvel Avengers Alliance friend, Agent Ree. He had one of these, and he now has the purple version of them. I got lucky and pulled one of these at one point, and he is definitely one of my... I think he's my all-time favorite single-target attacker. I have a Krampus, who's been pulling in a lot of work for me in the last half a year or so. Really like Krampus. He replaced Desert Marauder, who was one of my favorite characters for a long time. And then that's pretty much it for my tops. I did used to use the Undead Rescuer for a really, really long time. He only recently, I'd say maybe in the last half or year or so, got overshadowed. However, it does look like he is ready for an evolution. And you know what? I think I will pull the trigger and do it. It's been a while since I've used him. But now he's got an open talisman slot. Yay. And then I have, for my Skull Quest farmers, I have a Valkyrie Knight, Child of the Damned Blue, and Child of the Damned Gold. They are part of my Skull Quest farmers. And that's pretty much it for my super favorite ones. I've had some at different points of the game that have kind of largely faded out. Angel of Fear, I think, would be pretty good built up. This was a Angry Birds crossover that they did. Got another Angel and the Angel of Pain. I used to use Corrupt Droid when I needed weaker characters for certain quests. And then we've got some Christmas ones here. The Fester Wicker Deer. I've got a Chopper. And then this is kind of the tail end of my roster over here that never gets any love. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do a video on this right now is they added a second mode of PvP, which is somewhat similar to what was going on in DC Legends. You've got your standard PvP, which is the arena, but now you have this gauntlet thing. And I've already gone through F and E, and I'm at level D. And what happens is, when you are playing, you throw a team up there, and then when you win, those characters, including that Eddie, are retired until the rest of the tier is done. And then when you complete the tier, you get all of your characters back. So you have to plan things wisely. This is the first time I've been at a 3-fight tier, and I also have the restriction of only being able to bring reds and blues. So that means bringing greens to counter this blue heavy team is not going to be really going to be an option there. So 4 stars, 8. The levels are kind of low, so I think I will bring a blue, because you can't. Reds would be a disadvantage in this. It's a rock paper scissor type thing, where blues are stronger than reds, reds are stronger than greens, and greens are stronger than blues. And then there's also the side thing of purple and gold directly opposing each other. So bringing any kind of red to this one is a bad idea. So I'll start off with him. Oh boy. I think we'll go with an Angel of Pain. We'll go with him. And we'll go with him. So I'm going to back out really quick and get my Angel over there a little bit, give him a little bit of love before the fight. Where is he? Yep, there we go. Negative effect caster. So it's part of the dailies to level characters up and level talismans up and everything. So I think I will give him a few levels. Now, when you equip talismans, you want to see what a character's skills are. So in this particular case, he doesn't have anything that goes off of any of his stats. We have dealing magic damage, lowering accuracy, increasing accuracy, shock, and lower power. So his skills don't tell me what talisman sets are good for him. So we gotta look at his stats. His stats seem to favor magic. So we want to try to get him some decent magic-related talismans. That looks good over there. Magic. Yep, this is the perfect kind of talisman for him. We're going to complete the set. And this is also part of your dailies, is to power up some talismans. So we're going to do that. We're going to take those 2 talismans that I equipped. We're going to power them up. So you'll notice, as soon as I click a like a power-up rune down there, it automatically wants to max out everything that you're applying to that character or that talisman. That actually bit me one time. I had powered up somebody with their level a little bit, and I caught that this was a change. The game didn't always used to be this way. So I caught the fact that it was doing it. I was like, ooh, wow. Okay, it automatically wants to just max out like the amount of materials that I'm applying to this character. Ooh, glad I noticed that. And I did 1 or 2 experience ups for an Eddie, I think it was. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to give his skills a little bit of love, so I went to apply like 1 skill shard, and I accidentally applied a max stack. So I wound up really burning a lot of a lot of skill shards on somebody, and I didn't mean to. Fortunately, I think it was my main Eddie, if not one of my main Eddies. So it wasn't exactly a waste, but believe me, I didn't want to do it. So it looks like my Angel's kind of low. I want to see if we've got any heals going on over here. So, alright, we're just going to go on the offensive. Now this is a little bit of a hard game to play on an emulator, because it's just easier to do on a touchscreen, especially for the rapid taps like this one. You kind of have to move your mouse to the side a little bit and just wail on it. It's much easier on a touchscreen, like a phone or a good tablet. Hopefully this one will heal, because my Angel is in some rough shape. However, we have this nice blizzard shield on us, which is going to return damage if they break my shields. And we've frozen our little pharaoh dog over there. Oh, we picked up immunity. That Child of the Damned is pretty handy. And this guy is still frozen, which is kind of funny because he's a burning wicker man. So there we go. There's a gauntlet battle. Aside from the first round with them going first, that was some pretty good combat. Iron coins is basically a PvP related currency. The remainder of these are going to be pretty tough. This one, that's the one I fear the most over here, is this middle one. This one should be relatively easy. Now, I've got a choice. I think I will throw my best characters at this one because of the 5-star general. I'm surprised to see an assassin here. That's very interesting. I don't know why there's an assassin on that team. There shouldn't be. Oh, that's very interesting. The enemy teams are not under the same restrictions I am, so there's a green here. Okay. So I'm going to save my best reds for that middle fight, and I will bring him, and him to this one. Okay. So my main Eddie is going to be stronger than just about everybody on the enemy side, and then my minions versus their minions are going to be relatively even. I'm going to bank that my Eddie's going to do most of the work on this fight. Damn, the enemy team got the turn order again. That could make a difference in this one. Yeah. Alright, he's hanging in there, but here comes Rocket Dog. And my Angel of Pain is down. My Eddie's in really good shape, though. This is a woof. Oof. Well, that's what I was hoping would happen on this fight. I knew I like to call him King Eddie, but Edward the Great I knew was going to carry that one. That's good. Alright, so last battle that we're going to do here for Gauntlet, and also the last battle in the D tier. And these guys are going to get my strongest, so they're going to get my main Eddie. They're going to get this punk ass. They're going to get Rocket Dog. And we'll give him the Wicker Man. Now that blue general is definitely going to pose a problem. Hopefully I get the turn order on this one. It'd be really nice if the game threw me a bone and had my team go first. Please let my... God damn, really? I'm very concerned about that general. Okay, his Eddie's kind of weak. That's weak. Weak. But it would be nice if he stopped already. Yeah, okay, that was not too bad. Not bad at all. I think I will open up on this guy. Yep, I was hoping for an easy kill. I'm going to do Rocket Dog next. Oh, wow, this is way easier of a combat than I thought it would be. I'm going to go ahead and use my Child of the Damned to finish this off. Here's where he's really good. If he scores a kill when he attacks, he gets an extra turn. So, very, very handy character to have. And you always want to kind of get him last in your rotation so he does mop up on janitor duty here. Okay, so the D gauntlet is cleared. I thought that battle was going to be way tougher than it actually was. And I got a rare soul for it. And here at the C tier, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 fights. And it's just going to be Warriors and Magus again. Oh, same team again. Well, now I know they're not particularly bad. I don't have to save my best characters for that one. I don't think any in this tier are going to be particularly tough, other than the fact that it's going to require 4 teams out of me. This guy maybe might be a little tough. That should be an easy battle. That one should be easy. This one is easy despite how it looked on paper. So if you've never played this game, you will see here under challenges, it will tell you what your dailies are. I did the characters and the talismans. I cleared a gauntlet grade, so I get that achievement. And then here under event, it tells you some things you could do. So if I were to win 10 arena battles, I get all of this stuff over here. Fragments are in the Book of Souls. If you have enough fragments for something, you can convert it to an actual soul. But don't click convert, click claim. That's what you want to do. And you have all of these different categories over here, and they all convert to different things. So this is a ritual one, and you have a chance of getting any one of these dudes. Nile Soul. The new one, I believe, is Nebu. And so these idle ones that you see at this tier and this tier, these aren't like really good minions. They're supposed to do a couple things, like this one you sell for money, and the hearts are used for sacrificing. When you get a soul, this is basically like your loot box. You come over here. In honor of the fact that I'm Napalm Dawn, I'm going to open my last remaining Napalm Soul and see what I pull, because this isn't a daily item. And unfortunately I pull a level 3 green allied soldier. So, when you have characters that you don't want, or you have duplicates, you go to My Team, and you find him, and you just check him out, see if he's got anything interesting. Here's a character that's based, it says this skill is based on magic, so what you would want to do is you would want to try to build him with magic talismans. So because I'm not particularly interested in him, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice him. And then the more pips that you fill up over here, the better rewards are when you do the sacrifice. Eddies, of course, build the meter up pretty far, and then anything above 4 stars comes out pretty good. And the other things for doing dailies are teaming up with friends that you have, sort of like fellow agents in Marvel Avengers Alliance, and also burning energy. The good thing about the game is that there is an autoplay mode, and that's how I always do my skull quests, is I always turn on auto mode over there. I get a team that I know can handle themselves, even completely brainless, and we just let the fun go. Right now, King Eddie has been carrying my skull teams, as you can see, just by the one-shot basic AoE attack. And over here, he wanted to get fancy and just start doing some single target and buffs. When you're doing these on autoplay, you always want to have a team that actually can benefit from gaining experience. You really don't want to bring capped characters or eddies to this. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste. They're not getting any experience. So guys, there is Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast. If you've been playing it at some point in the past, there's been some recent updates that have made the game a lot of fun. You have this satellite thing that beams rewards in over time. However, one of the only drawbacks to this thing is that it tends to give you a lot of runes, and eventually your rune inventory gets so full you have to start selling them, and it's usually one of two specific runes that you get a lot of. There's a green one and there's a red one that you seem to get from that satellite fairly often, and just after a while you have to clean out your inventory and sell them off or equip them on scrub characters that you don't really care about. However, storing them on a scrub character is not bad because you can always unequip them from the character. So if you get eddies or minions down the road that you're like, hey, I could really use that talisman on this, you just pull them off of the scrub character and give them to who you want. So as you can see from King Eddie and the Valkyrie Knight over there, they have some good AoE, which is part of the reason why these guys are handling my Skull Quest team. Wicker Man over here is a recent addition to this team. I was using the blue Child of the Damned. I just put Wicker Man in to get a little bit of experience. So you unlock these quests by getting skulls, doing the main story missions. To get skulls, there is 3 conditionals in each battle that you get into, and every time you meet a conditional, you get a skull. Some conditionals unfortunately like to fight each other. Like, you may have a conditional that says win this fight using only basic attacks, and then you might see a conditional that says kill 2 enemies using a fury attack, which is a ultimate from Eddie. Those two conflict because using a fury is not a basic attack, but you just go back and do the mission again. So one time you go through using only basics, and then another time you go through and you try to do the furies. Because of these quests, and some of them are tougher than others, this is where it's very handy to have a robust roster and not just stick to like 4 or 5 and make them super, because sometimes when your characters are too overmatched for the combat, it's harder to get the other quests done. So if you have a fight where it's like use a fury attack to kill 2 enemies and you're just mowing everybody down, it's better to bring a weaker team so that they do less damage overall and have more time to fulfill the Skull Quest obligation. So if you looked at my roster and you're like, wow, dude, I saw like you had 63, 64 characters out of 75. You can bump up your character inventory, and it's not that expensive. And you often have achievements or Skull Quest conditionals where having a robust roster from top to bottom just means more. You're more likely to do the things that are up there. Like, you might see an achievement to use permadeath 10 times or something like that. Well, if you have a permadeath creator character that's really, really weak, and you're like, oh, this guy's weak, he's never going to be in my main team, and you throw him away, well, now you've just thrown away the ability to do an achievement. And you gotta hope you pull a permadeath caster somewhere along the line. So try to keep your roster pretty healthy from top to bottom, and really only shard duplicates. Alright, so we're gonna look at challenges. We've done all but an arena. So arena was old PvP. It's the PvP that's existed for a long time. And I will say, you know, the devs for this game have impressed me. When the game first came out, there were a lot of things that were locked and said coming soon. And it was real easy to think, hey man, it's a mobile game. I've seen this kind of shit before. It's going to say coming soon, whatever. We'll see if they actually do it. Well, to be honest, they did. I mean, this game gets regular updates. This is not abandonware by any stretch of the imagination. And to be honest, it's a lot of fun. And I kind of screwed up by having him go before my Krampus, but that's okay. You'll see this sometimes in PvP where a person's defensive team is not full characters or not even their strong characters, but take advantage of it when you see it. It's a free win. It's like in Marvel Avengers Alliance where people would put really, really bad teams on defense just so other people could get some wins. Peace of Mind Eddie is, of course, an iconic Eddie from their previous album covers. So that's it. That's a full complement of dailies over here. You get some Ironite. And there you go. So guys, thanks for taking a look at this Iron Man Legacy the Beast video. Also in the game are time rifts. These are dungeons that change per day of the week. Lots of good stuff in these. You want to save some of your best friends to escort you in Lords of Light. This way you can do higher Lord of Light dungeons than if it was just your own team. I like bringing Agent Ree's guy over here, this guy, to these, as he's really, really strong and very, very handy against these mobs. So, hope you liked the video. Check out the game on both iOS and Android, and since it uses a Facebook login, you can get cross functionality and play it on both Android and iOS and get access to the same content. Thanks everybody, have a good one.